I want to talk about the basic business model um, that I developed for selling covered stock options. And it's really a simple concept, but it requires a lot of explanation, I guess, because it's so simple. Um, I know you may have heard the expression, even a broken clock is correct twice a day. Well, that applies a little bit to this business model in that I don't trade options. I create them by selling options short. Um, and a full transaction set is going from the selling puts until those are exercised, and then which gives me the stock to cover the calls. And then I sell call contracts until they're exercised, and when they are, that's a full transaction set. But here's the secret, if you want to call it such a thing, is that I'm receiving the premiums on in both directions, on the put and the call. And taken together, they will, more often than not, those premiums will cover the spread being the difference between the what I paid for the stock through the put and what I sold it for through the call. And that gives me a profit and loss according to generally accepted accounting practices, or GAAP. Of course, what I'm more interested in is free cash flow. And that is the difference between my cost basis and my replacement cost. So, and because this is an ongoing thing, I guess I should mention at this point that I always hold the options till expirations. In other words, I don't try to buy out of I don't try to close the position by buying the contract that I sold. So whatever premium I collected on both the put and the call all goes into my account. So over time, it really does work, as simple as it is. And let me take you to this screen here. This is my business model, what I call the transaction set. Now, the transaction set is just a concept, but it talks about this. A set is going from the exercised put through the exercised call. And if it were straight, you sell a put, it's exercised. You sell a call, it's exercised. You sell a put, it's exercised. You sell a call, it's exercised. That would eke out a little bit of profit. But here's where it really pays off. It's that when you sell the same contract repeatedly, because it was not exercised. And that works on both sides of both on the put and the call. And if you're very fortunate and the market moves through your strike prices, meaning that it's out of the money, that is not exercised, then you can collect a lot of premiums on the same inventory. Now, from a free cash flow point of view, that's 100% free cash flow. And it's more likely to show a profit on the GAAP accounting because you're collecting more and more premiums to cover and exceed the spread between what you paid for the stock and what you sold it for. So it's a simple concept. And I get a lot of people who in the comments, which I encourage, by the way, questions and comments, want to know what my strategy is. Well, it's not a strategy. It's my clock that's stopped at a particular strike point. And the market moves through it, so twice a day it's correct. And it really works because people are trading options. Remember, I'm not trading them, I'm selling them. So they're trading them, and there's this tug of war going on because it's an auction. People bid, have an ask price, people bid, and when there's an agreement, then there's a transaction made. So it's that tug of war that drags it across strike prices closest to the current market price when the strike price was selected. So more often than not, that favors me, and it doubles my chances of a positive free cash flow or profit, because oftentimes I can sell the same inventory and collect more premiums to cover the spread. Of course, there's all kinds of nuances, that are not a matter of strategy. It's just the way the market moves. And then I guess the other thing I should mention is because I'm creating the contracts by selling them short. I do better in a declining market. Although I see my unrealized capital losses increase, and therefore the liquidation value of my account decrease in a falling market. Nevertheless, that does not impede, rather, it actually improves my chances of having free cash thrown off from the transaction. When the market goes back up, then it takes more of my resources to cover the contracts. Therefore, I can write fewer contracts, and my revenue stream goes down, but then my account value goes up. So it's a little bit like an autopilot. I guess if I had to emphasize anything to be careful about, is you want a very stable company, boring even. I'm not sure this method would work very well with a highly volatile stock, in the meme stocks or whatever. I've never used those as the basis of the contracts I write. Never the underlying stock. Really, I'm in this for the revenue stream, not stock appreciation or price appreciation. I'm not a speculator. I'm doing this strictly for income. So the stock selection is important. And one of the pages on my website that's very helpful. Let me see if I can go to that now. That's not the one I wanted. Here we go. All right, this is I'll put this down in the description, this link. This is to the terms I use in the website and on my videos and whatnot. And one of the important ones is my 4 rules of stock selection. And that's pretty self-explanatory. So at any rate, it hits several points. Like one of the things I'm running into with HPI is the price is getting so low that it takes a huge price swing to cover that 50-cent increment. So that's getting to be one I'm going to be moving out of slowly and moving over to American Eagle Outfitters, which is a higher stock price. To do that, however, that will increase my account liquidation value, but it will have some negative impact on the size of my revenue stream. But I'm going to try to get a balance on these two, even though it'll, on the short term, will cut my revenue stream slightly. And I'll watch that very carefully. But anyway, this link, this page covers all the terms that you will run across in dealing with options. So, all right. So I guess that's pretty well covers everything I wanted to cover, but so this, I'll entitle this one Broken Clock, because it's right twice a day. Well, that's a little bit like what I do in terms of strategy. I just select a strike price as close as I can to the current market price, and hope that between the revenue from the put and the calls, that will exceed the spread. And more often than not, it does. Not always, but more often than not, it does. And then I have a situation like I have right now. Let me go back to that screen. This one here. Okay, right now on the current transaction set, I have two blocks of, excuse me, two blocks of contracts. HBI have 22 put contracts with a $5 strike. And that will get put on me. This chart color is wrong. That should be red there for in the money. But if it goes above $5, and then of course that will not be exercised. Got to correct this chart. But on American Eagle Outfitters with a $13 call, it's not going to get called away at a price higher than the current market, so that will not be exercised. So that $100 premium, while it's not large, that's a 100% free cash flow and contributes toward my ultimate profit on that set of contracts. So let me end it there, I guess, is a good stopping point. I've got to edit this, and in so doing, I think of some other points I need to make. But at any rate, I hope you have a good day. Let's try to make some money, even in this crazy market. And it's crazy. I mean, I'm hoping it won't get as bad as it did in 2008. But the bank failures are not a good sign. But I mean, that just happens. It's capitalism. Greed gets to the point where it just destroys itself, at least in the short run. But that's capitalism. It's the creation and destruction of wealth. And without that, we wouldn't have a free capitalistic economy. So the good and the bad and the ugly, I guess.